Alright, so that noise in the background is our burner boiling the water for the steam chest. And hey Dave, you want to open the door on that steam chest again? Just to see the steam coming out.
Tea?
Steam. Lovely.
Shall we make tea?
And what do we have here, Dave?
Well, we're still trying to figure it out. It's a 15-foot chestnut from the 70s.
It's a restoration project. She needs some work.
The gunnels are all shot.
Yep, gunnels are shot.
Canvas is shot.
Canvas is done. 15-foot chestnut. We think a prospector right now. Just based on how deep she is. It was donated to us by Peter Catt. One of the interesting features that we noticed right away was that the ribs are tapered from the middle to the going outward. But what's weird is that this isn't beveled like it normally is, a rounded bevel. It's actually just cut straight, which is probably just to save time. This canoe is made toward the end of the life of the Chestnut Canoe Company, and so we expect to find some places where they might have speeded production along by taking shortcuts like that.
Remember, you said you had it built lightweight?
Yeah.
The planking is 1/8.
So it's 1/8 inch planking.
As opposed to 5/16, which is what we normally plank with. So you imagine they've knocked a 16th of an inch off the thickness of the wood in the entire boat. So it's probably saved a couple pounds, right?
Yeah. Well, what was our estimate on the weight of this canoe? It was like...
I think it weighs about 50-55 pounds.
So 50-55 pounds. It's a very, very lightweight canoe. And the guy that gave it to us, Peter, he said that he had gotten it specifically for the lightweight.
And the ribs are 1/4 inch.
Ribs are 1/4 inch.
So they're wider. They're a bit wider than we normally do, but not a whole lot wider.
Yeah.
But they're a lot thinner. So they built a wider rib, tapered the ends to save weight. Thin. It'll be a fragile canoe.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a canoe you're going to do whitewater in. So
You wouldn't want to do rough backcountry stuff, but it'd be great for like...
I'm trying to figure out whether it's ash or maple decks. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But the good news is the stems appear to be intact, even up in here where there's a lot of rot. The outwheels are going to have to be scarfed from about here forward, but that's relatively easy to do. We can use offcuts for that. Scarf those in with dowel glued in to hold them in place with epoxy, and then finish the whole thing. It should be almost indistinguishable. You can see here, though, I mean, Chestnut wasn't exactly building with fine craftsmanship at the end. Look at how the deck is raised. Like it's not even fitted flush before they drilled screws in, right?
Yeah. Well, I said before, they're trying to compete with fiberglass production methods that were just so fast and cheap.
Yeah. But the boats, the critical pieces of the boat are solid.
Yeah.
I think it's a little twisted, but we can deal with that. It's got a shoe keel on it too, which is, I don't like shoe keels, but we'll probably put the shoe keel back on this one. You see the screws that hold it in place?
Yeah, well, if your plan is to make her into a sailing canoe, wouldn't a bit of a keel be desirable? I know there's a lee board, but...
Yes and no. What it does is it really protects the bottom on beaches, rocks. It's kind of a sacrificial thing.
Yeah.
I had a shoe keel on my first cedar canvas boat, which I bought new. But when I re-canvassed it after a whitewater accident, I had the shoe keel off. So, but I think we'll let her dry out in here. We may have to move her in and out when we're working.
Yeah.
But I think what we'll do is, while we're spending the next, we'll put the stems for the new boats onto the form on Wednesday, and then we'll start taking this apart as a lesson. Like if we get all the builders here, we pull this apart. You guys can see how this stuff goes together, and that will help her to dry out too, because we'll take the canvas off of her.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very. See these little brass screws in here? little number 4s, right? Number 4? No, it goes the other way. Anyway, tiny little, like 3/8 inch brass screws.
Yeah.
That are into this lovely, probably German brass stem bend. And if this is the proper kind, you can't. It's hard to get now, but there'll be a cove in behind, so that the sealer goes. When you're sealing the stem, goes up inside, and you tighten it in, and it makes a flush fit. But look at this, Ted.
Yeah.
So that's all got to go. A little bit of punk in a couple of the ribs. The other thing in here, really interesting. Come and have a look. Oh, that's
right.
real.
Yeah.
So here you have the regular ribs.
Yeah.
Look at this one. It's called a sheeting rib. So it's actually a rib, but it's made out of the same material as the planking because it's so thin, right?
Yeah.
So when Kim's talking about a sheeting rib, and his also, when we do this on here, we'll put a sheeting rib in. It'll go in here. This rib will be probably a little bit different. These ones are actually fit in. See, these ones are bent, but these ones are two separate ribs that are dovetailed in. That you have to work into the stems. Once you get the stems fitted onto the form, then we'll cut. Well, you can see in here how these are cut.
Yeah.
So that the stem is flush to the bottom of the boat.
Right. Right. So they'll just be.
And this is all uniform size planking. You notice this?
Yeah. How wide is that
I
planking?
think even the gore planks here are.
Here's a measuring square.
3-inch planking.
It's 3-inch, okay.
So, I mean, sometimes because of the shape of the gore, it's easier to make it now. See this? See this? See the way these planks are shaped?
Yeah, yeah.
And then these shape, see that?
That's weird.
No, that's the way you do it.
Okay.
So the joints between the planks are hidden behind see these rows of nails in here?
Yeah. I see.
There's a bad rib. That one's got to go. That one's hit a rock or something. Oh, you can feel it's deforming the side of the hull. Bit of a broken plank. So there's a rib there. That's the only broken rib, though, that I've seen. A little bit of busted plank here, but you know, we might be able to just glue that sucker.
Maybe a little bit of epoxy or something? A little epoxy?
And take this apart very carefully. We may be able to salvage a lot more with ribs and stuff. Very interesting. Okay, I gotta go get my boats out. I think I gotta get my books out. I think I gotta get all the. Okay, the steamer's up to 130.
Is it feeling warm?
Yeah, it's feeling a bit warm.
Excellent. Good stuff.